What's up YouTube? This is the Wisco Boater channel. My name is Chad. I am in my basement. The intro for this video is actually happening mid video production of making this table. Doesn't that look pretty? So I'm going to show you how I got to this point and then how this table gets finished out. I was going to do this as a single video from start to finish, but it got really long. I mean, we're looking at an hour and a half edited footage. So at this point, and I'm not quite done with the table yet. So this is the second part. Enjoy. It's pretty cool how all this comes together. So yeah, hope you enjoy it. The star of the show has arrived. The Stone Coat countertop epoxy and the metallic blue pigment. I need to warm these up just a little bit using the heat gun. They were sitting on the FedEx truck all day, so a little bit cold. Need to get these up to 65 degrees or higher. So in the meantime, I'm working on leveling the table. I'm pretty much there. So I'll continue to get this table perfectly level before I work on warming up the epoxy and pouring it down. But I've got my measuring cups, mixing bowls. I've got some sticks. I need to get my, let's see, I think it's down here. Yeah. My mixer, clean that up a little bit. So everything's here. It's time to make the magic happen, I guess. I'm going to do 16 ounces of each part and then pour into a larger mixing bucket here. And I'm hoping that 32 ounces will be enough to get the blue part done. If not, I'll mix up just a little bit more and have just a thinner top clear coat. So we'll start by pouring our part A, which is very thick. This is the resin. Don't want to waste any. This stuff is not cheap. This half-gallon kit was about 70 bucks. And you see how much resin I have left here. I think I am gonna go to 16 ounces. The hardener, very thin compared to the resin. Okay, there's 16 ounces. And that should leave us about half, yeah. All right, that's plenty thin. I'll hit this with the heat gun. All right, it shouldn't take too much. And the heater's going to start and stop because I've got it cranked up. It's supposed to keep your shop space at 65 degrees or higher for application and the following 72 hours. So this is going to be an expensive gas bill this month, running the garage heater as much as I'm going to. Okay, that's much more usable. I have read the do's and don'ts here from Stone Coat. The one thing I'm not doing is their primer, because the primer is for countertops. You got to have a substrate that the epoxy will stick to. This being bare wood, it's going to stick to it just fine, so I'm not doing their primer. Okay, we're going to pour in part A. And we got to be sure we get all of the resin because this is a 1-to-1 mixture. So we're going to scrape it. By the way, I've never used this product before. I have no idea how this is going to work. I don't know how it is to work with. They have a ton of videos on YouTube of them doing countertops and projects, and of course they're beautifully done, expertly done, because they are professionals.
I'm hoping that I can get this to look fairly good. Okay. There's that. Now I'm going to put the blue on top, the blue metallic blue. This stuff is from Alumilite. This comes with the stone coat countertops kit though. You can order a bunch of different colors. This is ocean blue metallic. So I'm going to add a little more than half of this baggie and see what kind of color I get. And you can see it's definitely metallic. Alright, so in that goes. And I want it to be, you know, pretty dark. Don't want to see the bottom, so there's a little more than half. And then we'll pour the hardener in. Okay. Here's our hardener. According to their website, you've got about 30 minutes of working time with this stuff. So I'm not worried about time at this point. I don't want to rush anything. I gotta have a place to put my mixer when I'm done. The spare board. Okay. Because this is gonna make a mess of my mixer. Okay, this is what I'm using. I'm just gonna go and let me show you what this looks like to start with. Okay. Come on. Okay. Give that a good 60 seconds or so of mix time. And here we go with the pour. Okay, I'm going to pour it and let it spread out, or get it spread out. Being careful where I pour. Okay. Now I'm going to provide a path here for the canal first. Get up close to the islands. It does say to use a trowel, so I will do that. Spread it. Okay. Now, I'm not terribly worried about it being perfectly even all the way around. As far as the height goes, because there's going to be another layer of epoxy that goes over the top of all of it that will level out. Actually, what would be helpful is a spoon. Bring the spoon all the way around. Okay, now we get the torch out. That looks all right. I gotta say I'm quite happy with this. If this dries as pretty as it looks right now, this is gonna be amazing. I am gonna have to buy another epoxy kit or some other clear epoxy to put over the top. Don't know that it necessarily has to be the same type of epoxy, because this stuff, like I said, is pretty expensive. It was 65 bucks, 70 bucks for those 2 quarter gallons of resin and hardener. So I might research that a little bit, but this has to cure for, dries to the touch in 24 hours, can be lightly handled in 72. It takes a full 7 days to cure though, fully cure. So I've got some time to order some more epoxy and be ready for the top layer. But it's gonna take every bit as much, if not more, to cover the whole thing. So I think it's gonna look pretty awesome though. Beauty. Well, it's the next day, next morning. We moved the table down to the basement last night just because I didn't want to keep the garage heated at 67 degrees all night long. That just gets very expensive. Not really sure what she's doing. But it is drying, curing beautifully. The streaks that I put in it yesterday kind of worked themselves out and kind of turned into this underwater topography looking flow. And then around the tip of the peninsula here, you got a little swirl, and same thing off of Washington Island and Rock Island, more underwater looking topography there. It's just, it's turning out great. So this is where the table is going to sit for the next 7 days while it fully cures. I am getting a little bit of, I don't know if I can show it or not, but yeah, you can see there's little spots. You can see there's a dog hair right there. But this blue layer is going to get scuffed up with 220 grit sandpaper before the clear layer goes on. So all those will come out of the blue layer. You won't see any of the dog hairs. You won't see any of the scuffing once the clear layer goes on. And then I have to figure out some way to cover the table when the clear layer goes on so that I don't get that happening with the clear. But it really looks fantastic. Oh, and it's still here. Oh, I got another dog down here. Yep, okay.
So that's how the table's gonna sit for the next 7 days. And when I get the epoxy, clear epoxy in to do the clear layer, we'll pick this up probably right down here in the basement. Well, 7 days has gone by. Today is the 7th day since I did the blue epoxy. And I think I have everything set up and ready to go in order to do the clear epoxy pour this afternoon. And I have a solution I think will work to try and keep dog hair, dust, and that kind of thing off the table after I do the pour. So I'll do the pour and then I'll move the canopy over the top of the table here. I've got a bunch of stuff set up over there, mixers, sanders, all that kind of stuff. So the first thing I need to do, unfortunately, is scuff up all of this beautiful blue epoxy. So it's not gonna take away any of the water-like features. Those are all underneath in the metallic layer that sinks to the bottom. But the shiny top is gonna get scuffed up because I have to get rid of all those little marks. There's dog, yeah, there's dog hair right there that's embedded. But I also need the epoxy to be somewhat roughed up so that the next layer of epoxy will stick to this layer of epoxy. Plywood, not worried about, it's rough enough. So I need to scuff this up with 220. Let me go ahead and do that. There's no reason to film that. It's just scuffing it up. But I'll show you what it looks like before I start the epoxy process. Ooh, yeah, it looks terrible. But it is necessary in order to get the next layer to stick. But we'll take a wet rag and watch this. All those scuffs. The white part of the scuff disappear and leaves behind scratches. So I'll finish this up, dry it off, and we'll be ready to pour some epoxy. Here we go, part A and part B. I'm going to mix the entire bottle of each part to get a ½ gallon. I'm gonna use this bucket here to mix it up and pour it. As you can see, I've got a tarp laid down to protect the carpet in case I have any drips. I've got my mixer here that I will use to mix up the epoxy. And then we'll pour it. The table is level, so we'll pour it all out, let it settle to see where it's gonna settle, make any adjustments necessary, and then I'll get the torch out to take out the bubbles. So, without further ado, let's do the clear layer of epoxy. This went very well. You can see I've got a nice uniform coverage there. You can see in the reflection, it gets a little bit, might be a little bit of a drop down there, but in the middle of the table, it's completely uniform. And I am battling some bubbles
from the thumbtacks that were holding the paper originally, holding that map down when I laid this out. So I'll have to keep the heat going on, the torch going on that. But this is the first time I've ever done this table, so the results that I'm getting I'm very happy with. And obviously learning on this table. So this has been a really cool, really fun process. I have to get the torch back in my hand and continue getting rid of these bubbles. But I think this is going to turn out really, really nice. I really like it. The next day is upon us, and it's, I mean, it's not cured yet. Still have 3 days till we can, well, we have 2 more days, 2.5 more days until I can actually move it around. It can be, I guess, touched at the end of the day today after 24 hours, but we're just gonna leave it here for the next couple of days just to get a nice solid cure. Came out really good. I might put one more layer of clear on this, but I'm gonna go ahead and end this video because it's not gonna change the result of the look of the table. The things that I don't like, I'll just point these out, and then when I do the installation, I'll make note of whether or not I put the extra layer of clear on. But using the reflection of the window, you can see that I've got some imperfections in the epoxy where little slivers of wood kind of made their way up into the epoxy. I tried to clear these out last night with a pair of tweezers, and I made it better, but it didn't quite fix it. And I'm wondering if that's gonna leave some sharp protrusions on that end of the table. So that's one thing. And then the other thing, also using the reflection of that window, as you can see right here, there's a drop in the topography, I guess, of the table. If we go this way, it gets better, and it's nice. It's completely shiny and solid in the middle of the table. You come down to this end, and it kind of drops off a little bit. So this is all good. And then we come down to this end, again, using that reflection, and it kind of drops off a little bit right there as well. So I think what happened is this piece of plywood that I thought was perfectly level actually had a slight bow in it. And using my 4-foot level from end to end didn't show me that. It's very slight. So I'm not sure if I'm going to do anything about this. At this point, it will take 7 days to cure this completely. I would have to scuff the surface again with 220, which will be easier because I don't have to worry about the going around the wood. I can just come over the whole thing with 220 grit sandpaper, scuff it up, wipe it off, and then just dump a layer of clear epoxy on it and do the exact same thing. Still using the tent to cover it up. It would raise the level of epoxy up closer to the top edge of the trim, which I would like as well. And it would probably give a little bit more depth to the table overall. So I might do that. I'll just update that portion of it after we get the table installed. It's only January 6th, so there's plenty of time to do this. I don't need to take this up to the boat anytime soon. I am going to do the installation of the bottom part of the table, which is another video, and demonstrate everything at the end. But this turned out so good. I'm happy with it the way it is, but there's a part of me that is leaning towards buying another half gallon of epoxy and putting another coat on it. So for now, I hope you enjoyed this video, this segment of building a dinette for the Chris-Craft Thirsty Wheel Catalina 381. I have certainly enjoyed the process and the project so far, and I think it's going to look amazing installed. So keep watching. Look for the update for the installation of this table on the boat. It'll be out in a couple of weeks, I'm sure.
So check it out. Again, thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, send me some comments, and if you want to be notified when I post new videos like this one, hit that notification bell. We'll see you next time on the Wisco Boater channel. Happy boating, everybody.